I'm Ryan,
I'm Julie.
and this is the Stories We Leave You.
Welcome back. We have been out for a couple of weeks because we took a vacation without the kids.
Vacation.
Our first vacation more than camping away from the kids since before I was pregnant with Finley, so 7 years ago.
Just thinking today how I was like, man, we just did not know what to do with our free time.
Yeah, we had a hard time. Like, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do?
It was like,
we usually don't have so many options.
I don't know. Like, I like couldn't relax in the, okay, we have some time to kill. It's like I'm just so used to go.
Yeah. We should have recorded.
I thought that. I was like,
I brought the mic.
That one night when it's like, oh, we have 2 hours. What should we do? I don't know. We'll just walk around the same stores we've been walking around past 4 days.
Hey,
It's fine.
it's a good thing we walked around, or we would have come back probably way into
10
the
pounds
more than we did.
Mhm. Anyways,
So today's episode, speaking of children, is all about Violet
bye-bye.
and her birth story because her birthday is coming up next week. She'll be 4 years old. Hard to believe she was born 4 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
but here we are. So we're going to talk about her birth story, my pregnancy with Violet. I had always wanted a home birth from the very beginning. And with Gray and Liv, it was like, okay, let's compromise. Let's go to the birth center. It was twins. They didn't do twins. So we just did the hospital route. Finley, obviously at that point I'd had a C-section before. So it was like, oh, there's a chance you could, have placental rupture. Didn't get to have a natural experience with Finley either. I did not have a C-section with him. I had a natural birth. So Violet comes along and I'm like, all right, this is our last chance.
Doing it.
Obviously, I had already had a C-section before. I also had my thyroid issues. So we decided it would be safer not to do it at home, but we were going to try the birthing center at the hospital. And I got turned down because of, one, my BMI, but also because of my thyroid issues. I know, they didn't even ask me any information. They just asked what my BMI was. And then they're like, no. I'm like, how do you know I'm not a bodybuilder?
It's just an easy way.
What if it's all muscle? But anyway, I mean, I had a OBGYN, but I don't know. We questioned whether or not we could trust her in the decision-making process to go with the wishes of what we had, trying to do it naturally and not pushing a C-section and things like that. We ended up opting for a midwife that works in the hospital system. She had been a labor and delivery nurse, became a midwife.
It seemed like the best of
Yeah.
both worlds.
It was like, this will be great. You know, she'll advocate for us, whatever. We also hired our doula, who we had with Finley, because she was great. So we hired her again. And yeah, we felt good about it. Like, this is the closest to the experience that I wanted to have in the beginning. This is the closest we're going to get. So
do we need to back up and explain what a doula is for those who don't know? In a nutshell, it's kind of like a birthing coach. So they advocate for the mom, the partner, the plan, and just kind of there to keep things on course and advocate for what you want. Because seeing it from the outside, you can tell when things aren't going the way that you thought they were going to go. It mixed that with an immense amount of pain and exhaustion. You need someone kind of as a non-biased party to keep your plan in place.
Yeah. But also she worked a lot with me. Like, she came over a couple of times when we went over the birth plan, but she also showed us different like exercises and movements that we could do to help with like loosening things up, making sure baby was in the right position, that kind of thing.
Everybody should have one.
Yeah. It's just kind of like your pregnancy friend who knows a lot and can help you.
They professionally birth babies from kind of an emotional.
Well, and it can be when you're going through things in labor, some of those things can be kind of scary. You don't know what they mean.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, oh my gosh, is this normal? Like, that was kind of my thing the whole time was, is this normal? Is this normal? And she would be like, this is normal. I see this all the time. So it was just kind of that like reassurance that like, I mean, she's been to over 200 births now, maybe over 300.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously she's been through it. So she knows. And the hospital staff, most of them are not great at communicating with you and telling you like, this is normal.
Well,
they kind of make you feel stupid sometimes.
Especially, and I know we're getting a little off topic, but especially for the other person that's going through it with you, it's super fucking scary to see the person that you love and have a family with and having babies with go through that much emotional and physical and mental pain and how much effort you have to put into birthing a child. It was really scary at times because I was like, I don't know if this is normal. You look like you're gonna die.
Yeah.
And she just kept saying like, you're one step closer to like meeting your baby. I'm like, you're so fucking calm. Like, okay, so that like all I needed was like, okay, this isn't a problem.
Yeah.
This is part of.
Well, and she also had ideas.
Yeah.
Like, oh, baby's not in the right position. Let's try these couple of things.
She practically had you stand on your head at one point. She's
Yeah.
like, I'm shocked you did that.
Oh, 100%.
That was for Finn, though. But anyways, back to Vi.
But yeah, so anyway.
Doula's good. Everyone should have one.
We had a midwife. We had a doula. Felt like we were on the right track. Overall, in that pregnancy, I felt pretty good. I had gestational diabetes with her, so I really watched what I was eating. I had like a certain amount of carbs that I was supposed to eat with each meal, and I had to go in for a lot more checkups and things like that. But the eating portion, I felt really good. I actually ended up, I want to say, I didn't gain weight till the very end. Maybe I gained like 7 pounds or something, which is exactly how much she weighed when she came out. So it was like,
well, yeah, they were like, you haven't gained any weight, but like the baby's fine.
Yeah.
And
she was growing, but my body was like leveling out because I was eating healthy. So I felt really good and energetic as far as that goes. I'm always nauseous like the first half of pregnancy. So that part really sucked. But, and then my belly gets super heavy and hurts towards the end. But otherwise, it was a good pregnancy. I felt really good. I did yoga once a week, which felt amazing. That was my favorite. And I saw a pelvic floor physical therapist who helped me with like stretches and exercises to help with birth and labor and stuff like that. Bought like a breathing meditation program for laboring and listened to that and practiced stuff at night.
I got you that cone.
Oh, yeah.
Birthing cone. For pressure points in your hands.
And we got like essential oils and all this stuff for labor. But
you got little cards of affirmation too, didn't you?
Yeah. So we did all the things. Like that pregnancy was so
calculated.
Yes. So much of my mental energy went into like, okay, I have to do these exercises. I have to go for a walk. I have to eat this. Like it just took up so much of my time. But it also was one of my favorite pregnancies. Like I think I felt the best overall.
Well, you had already gone through 2, one of each, and it was like one of those things where like I just told Gray this the other day going to practice, like your failures, quote unquote, like teach you the most. And I think going into it kind of blind with each pregnancy, you're like, all right, this is what I want to do differently. This is what I learned, blah, blah, blah. And like, we knew it was probably our final.
Yeah. Well, with Gray and Liv,
like, I'm fucking doing it.
With Gray and Liv ending up being a C-section, and then Finley, I really wanted to do it naturally, which I had a VBAC, which is a vaginal birth after C-section. But I ended up using the meds because it took so long and he was in the wrong position. So with Vi, it was like, okay, what can I do to avoid that situation? So with Violet, I did have gestational diabetes, which meant I had to go to the doctor a lot more often, get more ultrasounds. And like I said, I controlled everything with my diet. And I did so good. My numbers looked great. But the doctor, every single visit I went to, they mentioned medicine. It was like, to them, it was inevitable that I was going to end up on medicine for the gestational diabetes, even though my numbers look great every single time. So I had so much anxiety every time I went because I was so afraid they were going to suggest medicine. And one thing with me was that when I was pregnant, my blood pressure was always a little higher, not quite out of the normal range. So that was always a concern because Gray and Liv, they actually delivered because my blood pressure had been a little high. So that was something I looked at. So every appointment, of course, it was high because I was nervous. And then on top of that, you have to waddle down the hallway to the room and they're like, hey, now that you're out of breath, let's take your blood pressure right away. So I was also stressed about that all the time. What are they going to say about my blood pressure? I don't know. That's the part that I hated of it, was like that doctor. I actually ended up changing and I basically,
you did.
yeah, I forget who I talked to. I think partly the midwife, but I was going to switch doctors. But the other doctor wasn't available. So I only saw the nurse practitioner.
Yeah, that's right.
From then on, because I was like, I don't want people to mention medicine every single time I come here. Luckily, that stopped after that. But yeah, it was always like, okay, what are they going to find now? What are they going to try to do now? Are they going to try to make me deliver early or, set a C-section date? And so that part of it was really stressful. So at the end of the pregnancy, I think I was like right at 40 weeks. I went in for an appointment. They did the ultrasound and the tech had mentioned, oh, some of these measurements on your fluid, they might not like, whatever. And there are two ways to measure fluid. You can either there's like a one sack method where they measure like the biggest sack of fluid they can find. And if that's big enough, it's like, okay, your fluid's fine. Then there's another one where they measure and your total has to be like 5 or something like that by adding up these different ones. I passed one of them and did not the other. So the ultrasound tech, she thought it was going to be fine. She didn't have a problem with it. It got back to the doctors and they're like, oh, we want you to be induced. And I was like, whoa, hold up. Like, it sounded like everything was fine. And now you're telling me because of this other number, I have to be induced. So I was like, look.
Scare tactic number 1.
Exactly. So they told me I needed to be induced. I was like, whoa, hold up. I ended up talking to my midwife and I was like, look, I would rather wait and check it again tomorrow. I will make sure I'm hydrated. We'll double check it and make sure. And she basically told me, no matter what the number says tomorrow, I still think you should be induced. And I was like, okay, great. Thanks for the encouragement.
And that's where a hospital doctor came out of her versus midwife.
I hydrated, whatever. The next day, I went into her office and she measured and everything was fine. The numbers were fine. But she told me she wanted me to be induced. I'm upset. I'm like, baby's fine. Fluid is fine. I don't understand why we can't wait. I've already started having some contractions. I was having contractions like I did with Finn, where it was like not you're in labor, but things were like happening. And she was just like, you need to be induced. You need to do this. And like, I'm sitting in this chair, bawling my eyes out because this isn't the plan and you're changing things on me. And I don't agree with what you're saying, but I'm also trying to trust you that you're the professional. And she just did not have the respect for me being emotional and changing my plan. And I, in that moment, felt like she was like, it was like some petty high school. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you're not doing what I think you should do. You're just being stubborn.
Like, you're the patient, I'm the doctor. You came to me, you're supposed to trust me,
right.
blah, blah, blah. And it threw everything we were working towards out the window. And I was like, it's because you're employed by a hospital.
Yeah.
There are checkboxes
Exactly.
of lawsuits to avoid,
Well,
schedules to keep.
And I feel like she wanted the specialty doctors that I was seeing to know that she was on their side. And like she was going to follow the process of whatever they thought was best. And I didn't feel like she advocated for me at all in that moment. She stood there and was shaking her head and made me feel like some like little kid who wasn't following the rules or doing what mommy said.
Well, I mean, I had to step in because I think you left the room.
I think I had shut down.
Oh,
at
completely,
that point.
100%. And I was just like, I should not have to come in and like rescue you from your doctor basically being a bully.
Yeah.
And saying, you know, those scare tactics are real and they will pull every stop out and basically make you feel like you're going to be hurting your child.
Yeah.
If you're not doing what they're saying. And you have got to advocate so much more than you should need to in those situations, because birth is not something to take lightly.
And she didn't offer me any other options. It wasn't like, okay,
my way or the highway.
Let's monitor the baby. Like if you stay in the hospital and we can monitor the baby and make sure she's okay, we can wait a little bit longer. Like she just didn't give me anything. It was like, no, you need to do this. The end. You're being stubborn. You're going to hurt your baby. I mean, she didn't say those words, but
no, the stubborn attitude, like you're just being a stubborn pain in the ass.
Yeah. So we ended up, okay, fine. I'll get induced, but I was like, I am not doing Pitocin. I want to try a less invasive method. And so we agreed to a Foley bulb, which is this little like balloon thing that they put into your cervix and essentially like blow it up, I guess. And it sits in there and helps you dilate. So we agreed we would come back to the hospital at like 5 that evening or something.
We went and ate.
Yeah, we went and ate. We had to make sure people were going to be watching the kids.
Yeah, like we got everything in order. We're like, all right, so it begins now.
Yeah, went to the hospital. They put the Foley bulb in. Things were pretty chill. I did overnight start getting contractions. Nothing like super serious, but like they were coming.
I mean, the Foley bulb fell out.
Yeah, it fell out. It was like, so we got to the hospital around like 5, I think, in the evening. And it was about like 3 a.m. that the Foley bulb fell out. I went to the bathroom to pee and it was just like, bloop. Like, oh, it's out. After that, the contractions were still on and off. Like they were consistent for a little bit, like 4 to 5 minutes apart. Then they kind of slowed down. I got some sleep. And then in the morning, they had started to pick up a little bit. And I got a call from the midwife. And she was like, well, your contractions aren't consistent enough. And you're not in active labor. So I want to do Pitocin. I was trying to tell her they've been picking up in the last like 30 minutes. Like it was getting to the point where I was having a hard time talking to her because I have a contraction and it was getting more difficult to speak to her, which is like a good sign when you're in labor and you can't talk through a contraction. But she did not want to hear any of that. She was like, she flat out told me she basically said that I was being stubborn just to be stubborn. And at that point, a contraction came and I was like, I'm done talking to her. And I gave the phone to you because I was like, I cannot do this. Like, I can't keep talking to this woman who makes me feel like I'm an idiot.
I think you might have said these things out loud as you were like,
yeah, well, I'm like,
waddling your way to the bathroom.
Like, I know my own body. I understand that you know birth, but I know my own body. So our doula was at another birth. So she couldn't be there with us. So she had her backup doula come, which her name is Heather. And I'm so thankful for her. I mean, our doula, Stephanie, is amazing as well. She shows up later, but
Stay tuned.
But Heather was there with us. So you talked to her. I think I finally was like, fine. I don't do well with confrontation. I don't do well with feeling like I'm not following the rules. And
that's when you're not giving birth.
Right. And so I agreed to the Pitocin. The nurses came in. They were bringing in the Pitocin. I remember they hung it on the thing. And Heather, the subdoula, looked at me and she was like, you don't really seem like you want to do this. And I was like, no, I don't. Like, I wanted to avoid Pitocin at all costs because I know Pitocin makes contractions so much stronger that a lot of people end up getting an epidural because of it. So I was like, no, I don't want to do it. It's not part of my plan. And she was like, you don't have to do it. She was like, your contractions are picking up and they're pretty consistent. She's like, if you don't want to do it, we can tell them that. So we ended up telling them, like, no, I don't want to do it. And maybe that's when they called. They called the midwife.
I believe, yes, because I wasn't really thrilled with the nurses either, because some hospitals don't like doulas to be in the room.
Yeah.
Because they advocate for their patient to stick to what they really want to do as long as it's healthy for both mom and baby. But the nurses had this, like, I just remember feeling like, just get out. And when you said that you wanted to wait, I felt like they tattled on you.
Well, because the midwife was the one in charge, they had to tell her.
Right.
That I was rejecting.
But I don't feel
meds.
like anyone was on your side in terms of, like...
I mean, they honestly, the nurses didn't make me feel any kind of way about it. They were like, this is your decision, but we do have to let her know. And so that's when they called her. That's when I was like, no, you're not going to tell me that I'm just being stubborn to be stubborn. Like, I'm trying to do what's best for me.
She was trying to give you, like, I don't know if that was, like, tough love or what.
I don't.
But I had to tell her, I'm like, you can't talk to her like that. She's literally in labor right now. I'm like, I won't have it.
So that was around like 8, I think, between 8 and 9 maybe, when all of that happened. And by 11 a.m., I was in active labor and I was around 5 to 7 centimeters on my own. No Pitocin.
Boom.
Boom, bitch. I will tell you right now, I would never hire that woman again. And if anyone is in the St. Louis area and you want to know what midwife it is, I will gladly tell you. Just DM me and I'll give you her name. I will tell you she had a podcast for a while or some kind of YouTube channel or something. Anyway, I'm not bitter about it or anything. So basically, 11 a.m., I'm in active labor. We get the tub ready. I get in the tub. I know at one point I had headphones in and I had like my thing playing and I was breathing.
By this time, you were very loud with your contractions. This is when everybody, well, I mean, we're jumping ahead, but this is when we really thought you were gonna.
Right. So I'm in the tub. Things are going well.
Because remember, they were like, you can't deliver in the tub.
Yeah. So that's like hospital rules. So
and again, though,
some hospitals don't even allow you to have a tub. They had added tubs, which was amazing. The warm water feels so good. But yeah, I was supposed to not. And I will give the midwife credit on this one. She was like, if the baby comes in the water, the baby comes in the water. But that was one thing she was like, well, whatever.
And Heather also was like, you focus on what you're doing.
Yeah.
If things progress and you can't get out of this tub, oh well.
Right. And so, and I mean, nobody made me feel like I had to get out to have the baby. So things keep picking up and it got to the point where my body started to push. And that's when I started getting loud because it was like, that was such an uncomfortable feeling, like my body pushing by itself. And I'm like, all right, let's push. Like, obviously we need to push. So at that point, everyone's like, oh my gosh, like, this is it. The baby's coming. They thought I was transitioning.
It was the most crowded the room was.
Yeah. So, like,
all day.
all of a sudden, there were like all these people in there. And I think she checked me and I was still like 7 to 9 centimeters. And it was like, baby's still too high. You're not dilated enough. We're not that close. So then it was like, oh, okay. Well, and then like a little bit later, oh, we think she's coming. So it was very back and forth.
Which helps paint a picture for when she actually showed up. But I just wanted to paint a picture for what this room looked like from my perspective. So as a partner, not a lot you can do. And I'm sitting there on the edge of the tub. Maybe rubbing your, I don't know. Because you were like, yes, touch me. And then you're like, no, don't fucking touch me at all.
So with Finley, they use like I had you guys using like a tennis ball, or I had you like rubbing my lower back like really hard. With Violet,
you were like, hands
you guys touched me and I was, no, don't do that again. That hurts.
So you were going through your motions, very loud moaning during contractions. And I'm sitting there just like an asshole looking around because the room is packed, yet nobody is saying a word. They're just like looking around like, all right, there's no baby yet. Like, do. And I almost told everyone to GTFO because it was like so awkward. And I was like, I'm sorry that this is taking so long and it's inconveniencing like whatever plans you had. But
I honestly didn't even realize.
It was so fucking awkward.
I was in the zone, so I didn't know.
I know. And nobody was reading the room. I'm like, okay, can everyone just like leave? Because nothing's happening right now. Like, we'll call you.
Yeah. So eventually, like, the water wasn't warm anymore. And they were like, all right, let's get out and try some different things. I mean, we tried all kinds of things. I did the thing where I like had to stand against the wall and lift my belly during the contraction. That hurt a lot. I don't remember. We did all kinds of things.
You
we
were
tried
on the
different,
bed.
Different positions on the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Again, some of those exercises. At one point, the midwife tried. So it got to the point where I just had like a lip left around the baby's head. Like, baby's head was there, but I still had a lip of my cervix, they call it, where you just have a piece left blocking. So she was like, we could try me pushing your cervix back and helping baby through during a contraction, and you push. And I was like, at that point, I was like, yeah, let's get this baby the freak out of me. Like, please. And so we tried that, and it was so painful. And all it did was cause more swelling and more pain in my cervix and bleeding and stuff. So at that point, so this was probably like 6:30 when that was happening. And then by like 7 or whatever, she had checked me again, and she's like, okay, baby's still not down. And my body had taken over pushing. Like, I was no longer in control of any kind of pushing. And it was like every contraction, my body was pushing down so hard. And I was just like in so much pain when it was happening. And like, I say pain, it's not like when you get like a cut or you get punched, not that kind of pain, but like, I knew it was useful pain, but it still is so uncomfortable.
So like when you have a super bad stomach ache and your body like just involuntarily like tries to push.
Like when you have the worst shits of your life, except it was just like my entire body was just like, like, I can't even like tell you. It was, it was so forceful, and I had no control over it. So the midwife checks me and she's like, you're gonna need to stop pushing. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, that's not me. I'm not doing that. That's my body. So if you want me to stop pushing, you're gonna have to give me the drugs, because there's no way I can get my body to stop doing this right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I was getting so uncomfortable at that point. And, at that point, I feel defeated. I'm tired. She's telling me I need to stop again, because she kind of sucks as a midwife. There were no encouraging words. It was, you need to stop, as if I could.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, fine, we need to do the epidural, because there's no way that's going to fucking happen. So around 7:30, I remember you were texting my mom.
She's like, should I keep the kids up? And I was like, I don't know. And it was a lot of back and forth.
Yeah, so they ordered the epidural. You told my mom not to bring the kids up. And I had to do fluids first. They had to get my fluids hooked up before they could do the epidural. My IV had come out and they had to put it in again. And the nurses, I think like 3 different nurses tried and they couldn't get it in. And they ended up going to get the anesthesiologist. And of course, she got it in right away. So I remember I was laying on the bed and they finally got the IV in. And the nurse was like, okay, I need you to come to the edge of the bed.
Wait, back up just a second. The midwife, because you agreed to an epidural.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, you're going to get some much needed rest, blah, blah, blah. And she left.
That was probably her plan the whole time. She wanted to get home to her family.
Maybe. But she saw it as, okay, we're going to stop what's happening.
Yeah, right.
At this point, and you're going to be able to take a break, this and that.
Yeah. So she left.
Cut to, yes.
Yeah, she left. Epidural was ordered. The nurse was like, okay, I need you to sit on the edge of the bed. So I sit on the edge of the bed. And what's really annoying is when you birth in the hospital, they want to keep a monitor on you the whole time to check on baby, which I get. But also it's super annoying because baby keeps moving or things shift and they're like, oh, we have to find baby's heartbeat again. It's so frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she was messing with that. And at one point because I remember at one point I was in like the shower and they were trying to find the baby and she went all the way down to my freaking she hit my clit with it. And I was like, that is not the baby. And she was like, oh, sorry. But I think that's what she was trying to do at the time. She was trying to get the monitor on the baby while the anesthesiologist was getting ready to give me the medicine. And a contraction came. So I stood up with the contraction. And when I stood up, I was like, oh, something just happened. I was like, I don't know if I pooped in the bed. I don't know what's going on, but something didn't feel right.
So again, time out. Let me paint this picture just before you go any further. So you're on the edge of the bed. You're bracing yourself against me because you're in so much pain. The nurse is scrambling to get this fucking monitor positioned, find the baby, whatever. Stephanie's behind me being like, oh my gosh, you're doing so great. Like doing all her doula things and whatnot. It is just pure chaos at this point. The anesthesiologist, this is the attending anesthesia, the best one in the hospital, apparently. She's getting all of her shit set up behind you. And we are seconds away from her, okay, we need to get you into position. And then, yeah, you take over and you're like, I either just shit the bed or something's happening.
Yeah. I was like, I think I pooped or something. Can you, you guys need to check, basically. Come take a look. And they're like, okay, well, let's check and see where you are. So they went to check me. They're like, oh, baby's...
Well, no, even before that, I was like, can we just take a breath? Because I felt like it was so frantic. Nobody was listening to you.
I was in pain. So at this point, I was like, anesthesiologist, I'm ready. Come on.
Right. And I was like, can we just take a breath really quick? I was like, can we get someone to check her before we do this? Because Stephanie was also saying Julie, I really think that let someone check you because I really think the baby's here. And you're like, I don't believe you.
Well, even when they checked me and they were like, baby's right here. And I was like, okay, come on.
Right.
Yeah. Put it in, because at that point I'd been led to believe the baby was coming so many times. I didn't believe it. I was like, no, she's never going to be born. I'm stuck in this forever.
Right. You were so, it was almost you were on drugs. Nothing was getting through to you and it was happening so fast.
Yeah.
I was like, can somebody please check her? So the other midwife or whatever, because we're someone needs to call.
Yeah,
her.
they ended up calling another midwife.
The fill-in midwife who was there. And she was in there. The nurse was in there. You're going crazy because you're just fucking get it in there so I can feel better.
Mind you, this happened so fast because I stood up, she dropped into place, and they checked me pretty quickly and they were like, next contraction, like she's out.
Yeah, she was like, I feel her head.
Yeah,
And you're
so
like,
this couldn't have been more than like 3 minutes
Mhm.
at this point. So I was like,
and you're like, no, she's not there. And Stephanie and me were like, no.
yeah, like I was still ready for the
We can
epidural.
see her.
And
Yeah.
Stephanie like looked at me and was like, Julie, she's right here. You don't need the epidural. Like next push, she's out. And I was finally, it clicked and I was like, okay, like let's do this. And I remember I like was holding you. I was holding onto the bed
Mhm.
and Stephanie was recording, which they tried to tell us we couldn't record. And like,
Fuck that.
fuck you. We also had a birth photographer, which I'm so glad we did.
Oh, yeah. I was like,
Because she captured the coolest picture of when Violet came out.
yeah.
I pushed and bam, there she was.
She
got the
slippery little sucker.
Okay, so she was sunny side up, which means when a baby comes out, typically they twist to where their face is facing mom's spine. So they're towards the back of you. She was face forward. So I could see her face when she came out.
It was a squished little friendly face.
In the picture that she took, I'm like hunched over and her little face is like dangling right there. But yeah, pushed her, you and the midwife caught her and handed her to me. I remember her umbilical cord wasn't very long.
No, I thought I was going to rip your insides out.
Yeah.
Because I didn't process that I was giving you our baby.
Something
but
attached to me.
It's also attached and there was tension and I was like, oh my God. Like,
luckily you didn't pull that hard. So it was fine. But she pooped on the way out. So as she came out, poop also came out. And I had poop and blood and whatever other things on my legs. I remember the next day, I was like, I need to shower. I have poop between my toes.
I made sure to shower that night.
Well, lucky you.
It was just...
I was so tired. I don't think I could have made it to the shower. I was so exhausted. Yeah, you had to
And
text.
you didn't end up pooping at all.
I did not poop this time. Nope, I definitely did with Finley. I did not with her. She made up for it.
What did you say before?
Oh, and then you had to text my mom.
Oh, yeah.
And say, false alarm, baby's here.
Bring the kids. Well, I had told her, I was like, okay, you know what? Just keep the kids up until I tell you otherwise, because I'm not... It was like, okay, let's get the epidural. And by the time that happened, like there was so much craziness going on. I remember it was just very like quick.
Well, and they had to call my midwife and she was like already in her car. She was driving away, I think, and she had to like come back and come in. So she
had just missed it.
Yeah, she missed the birth. She did deliver my placenta and did all the stuff that had to be done. Yeah, I had to be stitched up. That part's hard because they don't give you anything. They just stitch it up. But honestly, there was so much going on down there. I don't think I felt it that much.
You felt it.
I mean, I'm not saying it felt nice.
But you're also getting flooded with...
I'd also already been ripped. So like, comparison.
Right. What do you get hit with? Dopamine? No.
Oxytocin. Yeah. So the kids came up. That's another thing. I was really glad we had the photographer because she got the cutest pictures of like all the kids meeting her.
Yeah, she stayed. I mean, it's part of her package, but yeah, she stayed up to an hour after the birth.
Yeah. It was really cool.
Long day.
Yeah. So it was like 7:30 when they ordered the epidural and she was born at 8:02. So within half an hour, they didn't even have time to get the epidural in.
Which in labor time is nothing.
Yeah.
I remember with Finley watching the clock and just hours going by.
Yeah.
And it's like 30 minutes. It's like nothing.
Yeah. So they put the Foley bulb in. We arrived at the hospital around 5 p.m. the night before. She was born at 8 the next night. So just over 24 hours for the whole thing.
27 hours from start to finish.
And all without Pitocin or an epidural.
I was just so convinced it was going to be so quick. I was like, we're going to go in.
That is quick.
Like yeah, it's quick. But I remember I was like, how amazing would it be if we went in, they put the bulb in, and we were able to go home the next day? Because we didn't want to be in the hospital.
No, I mean,
because with Gray and Liv, we were in there for 4 days.
We were in there for 5 days.
5 days? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Finley, we were there for 4 days.
Because I was in labor so long.
Right.
But then
this time we're like, can we just get the fuck out of here? Like, we don't want to stay. Yeah. And I had never had that feeling before. Normally it's like, oh, you have these nurses helping and you get to sleep a little bit because they'll fill in and whatever. And I was like, no, let's go.
Oh, that was another thing too, is with Gray and Liv, I had hemorrhaged after I had them. If you have a history of that, they want to give you Pitocin, what they use to induce contractions. And I guess that helps like clamp your uterus and like stop the bleeding. And so with Finley, they didn't have to. I was already on Pitocin to deliver him. So with Violet, they asked about it. And I was like, you know what? No, I want to see if my body can do it by itself. And I did not have to get Pitocin for that even. And my body did what it was supposed to do. I was very proud of it. Good job, buddy. So, yeah, it was like I got to have a little bit of everything. I had a C-section, had Pitocin and epidural, and then had everything completely, except for the Foley bulb, I guess, naturally.
Were you in as much pain afterwards as you were with Finn?
No, I was.
Because you stretched more?
So even with the C-section with Gray and Liv, I don't remember being that sore. I don't know if it's because I was on my stomach, so it didn't bother me as much.
Well,
with Finley, my vagina hurt so bad. It took at least a week or two to heal. I remember I had, because it's common with epidurals to have like back pain or headaches or things like that. And I remember my back hurting. And I don't know, like Violet.
So I remember like you couldn't sit.
Yeah. And it hurt with Violet. I remember using a donut, but I also discovered those ice packs that you put
in the pad.
Yeah, that are made for postpartum. Those are amazing. If you have a baby through your vagina, definitely get those ice packs because they are amazing. Violet's birth 100% was my favorite. I felt the best, obviously during the pregnancy, but I felt the best after giving birth with her.
I'd say they all three had levels of trauma. You took the most control.
Yeah. If we decided to have any more children, 100%, I would do it unmedicated again. 100%. Not even a question. Because it's like, oh, people are like, oh, it hurts. But it's not, I don't even know how to explain it. Like I said, it's not like, oh, I broke my leg, it hurts. It's like, there's like, it's a purposeful pain. And I don't know, it's so different. I wouldn't even use the word pain. But yeah, 100%. It was my favorite labor experience and postpartum. What was it like for you catching her?
I mean, I didn't have gloves on.
Because I know you were nervous about Finley because he came out all slippery, slimy, and you were like, he's like a chicken.
He was like a little chicken baby, yeah. But yes, they're very slippery.
But I was on the bed for that one. So it's like if you drop him, he's just going to go on the bed. For her, I was standing. So.
This one, I was just like, whoa. This is like legit. Like in the wilderness birthing a baby and whatnot. But I mean, it was just so crazy right before that. And I didn't believe she was ever going to come out. I thought you were stuck like that forever. I'm like, oh, this is what our life's going to be like.
Yeah, just me in labor for the rest of our lives.
So when I remember when I saw Finley's head for the first time, like the top of it, I was like, not what I was expecting because it's super like wrinkly and it kind of looks like a Shar-Pei.
Yeah.
And it's just weird because all of a sudden there is a teeny tiny human being coming out of you, which seems completely unnatural. And I don't think I'll ever get over the fact that you produced humans and like cracked them out of your vagina.
It still blows my mind.
Yeah. So that one, like Finn was there, and then it like, yeah, it happened kind of quick, but it took a lot of pushing.
Mm-hmm.
This one, I think because you had been pushing like all day, you were already a little looser than when you had Finn. And because you were standing,
Mm-hmm.
it was like, they were like, okay, you just need to push like once and she's going to be out. And it wasn't, you pushed, they had to clear her airway and like, you know, hold on. And then the shoulders, it was like out popped her face. My first thought was, holy fucking shit, she looks exactly like Finn. And then she just slipped out. And I remember thinking, like, why is she brown? Like the brown, like smear down her body. And they immediately were like, oh, she pooped, which, you know, our fourth child, it's like, that's good. So I was like, that counts, right? That counts as her poop.
That's her first poop. And it didn't happen like inside where it got in her mouth or anything.
Right. It happened like right on the way out. And it was the first time, the first time I got to do skin to skin.
Oh, yeah, because you didn't have
immediately
boobs anymore.
So, yeah, I took off my shirt and I got to hold her like legit against my chest, which was kind of cool and kind of gross just because she was gross. But the nurse actually...
After I held her.
Well, yeah, I handed her to you.
They cut the cord, right? And then you held her after.
I don't remember cutting the cord.
Because then I had to deliver the placenta.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then I took her and I was like, oh my God, she's so tiny and gross, but so tiny. And like, it's crazy because when you don't swaddle her like a baby right away and they're laying on your skin, like your warm body, they like immediately calm down.
Yeah. Oh, that was another thing too, is when you have gestational diabetes, it's common for the babies to be bigger. And that's one of their concerns, is the baby getting too big.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably why at 40 weeks they were so adamant to induce me.
Like she's going to like grow double in size in a day.
And she came out exactly 7 pounds.
Yeah.
She was not even my biggest baby.
Teeny tiny. Oh, but anyways, you cut me off.
Oh, sorry.
The nurse that was in there at the time when she came back, she asked me about my scars.
Yeah, I remember that was one thing you were excited for after you got your top surgery.
Well, like I remember holding Gray and I had a sports bra on and it was just like, he had all that, what do you call it? The white stuff.
Meconium?
Yeah. And like, I remember it just like wasn't comfortable. I had to put him like on top of my boobs and whatever.
Yeah.
This one, I was just like holding her and I was just like, oh, this is way better.
Yeah.
Like so much more natural.
Yeah, you always did have to hold babies like up in your face, almost like.
Yeah.
They were so high up.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot of feeling helpless because, like I said, there's nothing like seeing your partner in that amount of pain. I've never seen you in that amount of pain before. I think before having babies, I think it was when you had pleurisy.
Gosh.
And you just like laid your head on me and you were like, it just hurts. And like, it was just like so like calm, but like pathetic. This was like you were being ripped apart.
Okay.
But I couldn't help you.
But I wouldn't even, like I said, I wouldn't even say like pleurisy. Yes, I was in pain. It hurt to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
This was so different. I didn't feel like, oh, I'm being ripped apart. It was just, it was really, really strong and my whole body was contracting.
Mm-hmm. But from an outside, it
sounded scarier to you than it felt to me.
It sounded and it looked scarier. And that's why I was so appreciative of our doula.
Yeah.
Because nobody talks about that part of it. Anyways.
Well, I will say for my last pregnancy, my last birthing experience, that minus the midwife and minus having gestational diabetes and having to deal with those doctors, otherwise it was the best experience to go out on.
Man, the timing could not have been more perfect. Just because you were literal seconds away from getting an epidural. Yeah. And I feel like you would have felt defeated.
I would have been really disappointed.
Yep. Happy in the moment, but you'd have been like, fucking shit.
Yeah. Because I struggled after Finley with this like guilt.
But anyways, what do we want her to know about the day she was born? I don't know. I felt like our family was complete.
Yeah.
Like she came out and it wasn't like, I remember feeling immediately like kind of stressed out with Finn because it had been 6 years since we had a newborn. I didn't have that feeling at all with Violet, even when they like wrapped her up and, you know, she was crying for the first time and whatever. It was like, it wasn't like, oh God, like, it's already like, it's happening.
Yeah.
It was, all right, where are the rest of the kids? They came in and it was like, it just felt like the closing of that chapter.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was like, okay. Because I remember I was like, fuck yeah, now I can get my tattoo. I can, like, we finally have our 4.
Well, and I think knowing her personality now, like, there's no other way that she could have come into this world without doing it on her own terms, facing her own direction.
I feel like she was secretly going, are you ready?
Right. Causing a little chaos. Those pictures, like the picture of her coming out face up and then the pictures of the kids afterwards are my absolute favorite pictures from the whole thing. Yeah, that's like the moment it's like our family's complete. And yeah, like she was obviously like so loved.
Oh, immediately.
And she still is. Everyone loves the baby.
Baby wavy.
Even when she's biting them and screaming and growling at them.
So happy almost 4th birthday, baby wavy.
She would tell you she's not a baby anymore.
I know.
She's a big girl, white tiger.
Until next time.
Follow the show. Give us a rating. Find us on Instagram. Send us a DM. We'd love to hear your stories or any ideas you have or questions you have for us.
What she said.
Oh, my God. All right. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.